You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 470 of Podketeers. This week, the Hulk movie starring Ed Norton comes to Disney+. Is a World War Hulk movie also coming? Disney Plus also debuts the Flamin' Hot Cheetos film. A stop-motion Lego animation gets a young creator an amazing opportunity. We talk about a DIY to make your own Splash Mountain vehicle. Leaks of the new Haunted Mansion merch coming this year. And of course, our Disney History segment, Great Moments with Mr. Andrew, continues with 1971 and 1972. We'd love for you to join the conversation on our social networks, including Instagram and Facebook, but we invite you to join us on Discord. Joining the community is super simple. Just head on over to podketeers.com/links and click on the Discord button to join the community. A very special thank you goes out to an awesome group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast, Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers after show, and access to our happy hour calls, just to name a few. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. By the way, the mics were recording when we jumped into a conversation about the old Go domain Disney used to use for all their sites for years, and we'll be putting up that conversation on Patreon if you want to give that a listen. So that's it. It is time to get this episode going. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome. We hope that you enjoy the episode and, of course, that you come back for more. But if you've been hanging with us for a while now, welcome back, friends. Here is episode 470 of Podketeers. Check it.
Sibilance.
Check it.
Sibilance.
Choo choo.
Yeah. What happens if I get really close to the microphone? Is that better? Should I
move as far back as possible and then yell?
Okay.
Check. That reminded me, and I don't know, my brain is odd right now. I have a weird sinus headache feeling thing right now, so I feel like I don't think no good right now. Mm-hmm. But saying checkity check made me think of checkers, and instantly my brain said, no, not checkers, chess. And then my brain said, no, wizard's chess. And then my brain once again said, no, Hogwarts Legacy, wizard's chess. And yes, in Hogwarts Legacy, there are two hidden areas where you can find hidden chests with items, and in order to get the chests, you have to play wizard's chess and just find the correct location for one of the pieces. And it's I don't know if I should ruin it. Never mind. I want to tell you how to solve it. The point is that you have to play wizard's chess, and I thought that was pretty awesome.
And now we're going to get ads for this because
I didn't know
it's been
wizard's
repeated.
chess was a thing. So that's okay.
Have you not seen the first film?
I guess twice, I think. I saw it once.
Is it in the first film or the second film?
I cannot remember. I'm bad.
Let me look it up.
Let's see. I'll say this. Tina, text me if you know what movie Wizard's Chess is in. We'll see if she's asleep or not.
It's in the first one. It is in the first one.
I was like, we could have Googled this.
The first one.
Yeah.
I
remember Ron riding the knight in the
Is that the one where they're down in the under the basement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
I
Giant
wondered
chess.
if it was going to happen in the game, and it wasn't a full board. It wasn't a full blown game or anything, but it was cool that they had some semblance of it while you were playing. So I like that. But
see, when I think of checkity check, I think of doing mic checks. And, when you do, when you're doing mic check in, theater and stuff, sometimes you have to talk for quite a while because the sound person is adjusting, stuff, trying to make it not feedback. So you can't just say, check, 1, 2, like for 5 minutes, like depending on how long. It gets really annoying. So I've my go-to for that is I know all the words to The Devil Went Down to Georgia. So that's my sound check speech, is I will just recite, not singing, just talking, The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Nice.
So that's my fun sound check thing.
That's cool. I mean, hey, look, anytime that a Charlie Daniel soliloquy can happen, that's a win for the day, right?
Do it like Patrick Stewart doing Shakespeare or something. Just
give it a shot.
I can't do a British voice, I guess. I don't know. I'm bad at British accents. It's like, the devil went down to Georgia. He was... That's not like William Shatner.
That's Shatner.
It's a
more
looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was way behind, looking to make a deal.
Well done.
This is literally what's going through my head right now. Have you seen any of the videos, either on Instagram or TikTok, where Frank Caliendo is breaking down how he'll do like Morgan Freeman, or how he'll do like certain voices?
Yes, Frank Caliendo is one of my favorite comedians of all time.
So it's so funny because he'll start off with, like, you want to start off with the Kermit the Frog, and then you want to bring it down. And then if you play along with it a little bit, you get a little bit of a John C. Reilly thing going on, and you kind of got Wreck-It Ralph. And if you punch it up, you can get into Seth Rogen really easy. And he's like breaking down how he breaks the tone. And one of them, he was showing how he does Patrick Stewart. Uh-huh. And that's literally what was going through my head. It's like, you I can't even do it anymore. Now I'm laughing. But I was imagining more of a I can't even do it anymore. Never mind. The point is, those videos are fun, and that's like how my mental breakdown happened today.
Because he basically said
Stewart.
Everything starts with either, is it what, Kermit the Frog
or Ernie or something? Or
yeah,
Fozzie?
It was like Fozzie Bear, I think, or something like that. Everything starts with either that, and then you just mix the two, and you get every character.
I mean, it's pretty good. Like, the way that he breaks it down, I think, is, especially if you're into voice acting, learning those little techniques and learning how to, like, twist your voice around to fit the different tones that people make. One, that's a super cool skill to have, right? It's not just a cool party trick, but if you can do it well, like, man, that is a good gig to get. It's a difficult gig to get because, like, the people that do it so well that they're basically lifers in that position. Like, look at like Eric Bauza, right? When he took over as the voice of like Bugs Bunny and Daffy and stuff like that, like he's the guy, right? You don't see anyone else filling in for these voices. Like, when you think of Brett Iwan, Chris Diamantopoulos, who else? Bill Farmer. You know, like, all these iconic voices, they are lifers in this position, right? And it's difficult to really break in to do iconic characters. But, man, if your voice can twist around just enough to get guest spots on existing shows, or for maybe you sound enough like a character that you need to fill in, or you do some ADR for a movie or something like that, that's a good gig to have, man.
Yeah, so if anybody needs a Roger Rabbit coming anywhere, just call the Podketeers, because please, it's right here. I tell you what, we're right here. Come on.
I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
You got it right there, right in the bag, I guess. I don't know.
Fantastic.
I mean, if we need a Sala,
my friends. That's all.
See, and that's all we needed.
But there's already a Sala, so I'm not taking. I do not want to take.
But maybe.
His job.
But
if
what
he's
if
busy,
you did Sala for the video games?
Yeah, if he's busy, then I will gladly. Not Bill Rogers. Hello, Andrew. His name is.
You're having a Heyzen moment right now.
I'm having a Heyzen. No, his name is Bob Joles. There we go. Another B name. If he's busy, then yes, I will gladly do Sala anytime, any day. Ringy ding my phone, Disney. It's okay.
And
call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
You know, speaking of Kim Possible, Will Friedle. Like, talk about a guy that's made like a career in voiceover, right? Like, he's Batman. Like, he's just so good at it too. I don't know. Maybe we should get a voice actor on the podcast. That would be a fun episode, right?
Yeah.
Get somebody that does voices and ADR and stuff like that.
Let's see. Fun. Let's get I don't know. John DiMaggio. I don't know. I was gonna pull a deep cut, but that's not very deep.
We'll find somebody.
How about Bill Rogers?
Bill Rogers, I think, would be fun. Bill Rogers is a really interesting guy. I've had a chance to talk to him a couple of times, but it was more in passing. Like at the last D23 Expo, I remember having like a good 15-20 minute conversation with him. And man, his stories are always so fun. That's a good one. Like, he and Camille would be really good guests to have on the podcast.
Corey Burton was the person I was trying to pull, but I couldn't think of it until after I said Bill Rogers.
Yeah.
He's like got a billion voices. I read something about him. I don't remember what it was. I was doing a deep dive a long time ago into like voice actors and stuff. And I think he was one that they said there was something like people have like generally like two different like voice like ranges, like tones they can do. Like, and everything is kind of based off of those, and he has like 4 or something distinct tones that he can do. It's something like that. I don't know the numbers. I can't remember. It's like 15 years ago and I was looking this up, but that's like why he can do so many different things and it sounds so different, is that like these tones that he can do are just all, you know, he can go from like Yen Sid to like Zipper or whatever. Like, it's just different, completely different things.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you have the ability to twist your voice around, and if you can learn how to manipulate, you know, your voice in ways that other people can't, that's a good gig to get. And you, like I said, you don't even need major characters, right? Like, getting a major character obviously is super cool. Like, who doesn't want to be an iconic character? But you might get more work if you become like side characters for a while until you have an opportunity to take over for a major character. Plus, if you're in a lot of projects, you can show range, which would allow you to become multiple characters, you know? So it's one of those things, right? Like, if you practice it, if you love voices, definitely something you should explore. If your kids love going around making little voices and stuff, have them listen to different characters. Start getting them to train in the like characters that they may sound the best at, you know, because they'll be able to train themselves. Have them mimic characters, you know. Give Jim Cummings a run for his money imitating Winnie the Pooh, you know, or Tigger or somebody. Like, I don't know why I picked on Jim Cummings right now.
Sometimes it's hard to like pull names out of your head, like who, because it's not like, okay, there's Tom Hanks and you see their face. Like, I know what these voice actors' faces look like, but most people don't. So it's like harder to like pull that out of your knowledge of like, all right, this is what D. Bradley Baker looks like. Like,
yeah, that's true. Unless you're Jim Hanks, then nobody knows who you look like. But
I mean, you look mostly like,
right?
You look like Tom Hanks, but
right?
Just like not,
but
like,
just younger.
It's like what do they always say? Like Wish.com Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
You know, it's not that he's he's just like not quite Tom Hanks.
Right. Yeah.
Almost, but not
almost.
There.
He's close enough.
Yeah.
Ah, man. How do we get into talking about this?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think it started at Wizard's Chess
and then Wizard's Chess and Charlie Daniels and all kinds of stuff.
It's gonna
Tangent City.
Yeah, I mean, buckle up, everyone, because my brain is scrambled. I'm telling you, I have this weird pressure headache right now, and it is making me like float all around everywhere. I'm going through Wonderland. I'm going through Adventures in Inner Space. I'm going through the mansion. I'm going through everywhere. I'm everywhere right now. So buckle up.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, since we were bringing up movies, well, I brought movies with Harry Potter into the conversation. Disney Plus added a couple of things that we had an opportunity. Well, one we had an opportunity to watch. One of them super surprising. Don't know the story yet. I'm going to find out more, and we could talk about it in an upcoming episode. But Marvel added The Incredible Hulk to Disney Plus. And this is a huge surprise because just a little background for those of you that don't know. A long time ago in a kingdom far, far away named close to bankruptcy, Marvel had to sell off a lot of their characters because they were in financial trouble. And so that's why companies like Sony owned Spider-Man, and other companies owned some of the other Avengers. And that's why when the MCU started, they chose Iron Man because it was one of the characters that they still owned, that they still had the rights to use in a film. And so as time progressed, Fox owned the X-Men and a bunch of other characters. And so part of the Disney acquisition of Fox was to try to regain those characters. And little by little, they've made deals with other studios, which is why Spider-Man has been primarily a Sony-driven franchise, with the exception of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, because that was a joint venture with Marvel Studios. But The Incredible Hulk is owned by Universal, or is. I don't even know what to say right now. I have to research this, but Universal was. I don't want to say they were holding the Hulk hostage, but it felt like they were holding the Hulk hostage, right? So the Hulk was one of the only characters in the MCU that was not able to get their own film because Universal had the rights to this. And so now, all of a sudden, with the Incredible Hulk film appearing on Disney Plus, I'm wondering if there was some behind-the-scenes thing where their contract ran out and now Disney's able to do this, and we're going to get a World War Hulk movie, finally, like a solo Hulk movie, or a Ruffalo Hulk, basically. Or if this was some kind of deal that we haven't heard of yet where they struck something with Universal and they said, yeah, fine. I mean, we're taking down the Marvel stuff in Florida anyway. Just do whatever you want with it. So, interesting.
So I just looked it up.
Oh, good.
Right. I just looking up. There's not a ton on it right now, but I guess in a recent Variety note that it says, in a notable shift, the rights have reverted to Marvel Studios, leading to the film's release on Disney Plus.
So Marvel does own Hulk again.
So what's important to note is that the movie, not the hero, that it's the movie, not the hero, that they're talking about here. So it does not don't automatically assume that Disney Marvel will be able to start pumping out Hulk movies, but it's saying, I think if I'm remembering this correctly, there was something about how Universal had the distribution for the Incredible Hulk movie for X amount of time, and so that's why they had the Hulk. That's why they could use the Hulk in other movies, but they couldn't create a standalone Hulk movie, is because up until X amount of time, Marvel or Universal had the distribution rights for the Incredible Hulk character for standalone film, something along those lines. But this is from comingsoon.net, so I'm not 100% sure. That was just the first thing that came up when I searched it. But it looks like this is a developing story.
Right on.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do get that, and we do get those movies. I was also curious about this, and I've read a little bit more. There was a lot of articles that had Hulk and Namor, connected to him, but we haven't heard. There's nothing really, anything, maybe in a year that mentions Namor or like the advancement of that.
Well, I know in the comics, Namor and the Hulk fight, and then they're friends, and then they fight, and I don't know what their story is, but I know that there is a connection to them in the comics. So maybe that's why, because we were getting Namor in Black Panther in Wakanda Forever, so maybe that's where we started to get a little bit more of it. But yeah, when this one popped up on Disney Plus, it was such a huge surprise. I guess we'll find out a little bit more since you said it was a developing story. But yeah, I know that part of the deal had to do with, like you were mentioning, they were able to use him in a faction movie. That's why he appeared in the Avengers and stuff like that. Like, part of the deal was that he could be a part of a faction, but he couldn't be in a standalone, the way that Iron Man and Thor and all these other characters got standalones. So I don't know. I'm still keeping hope for World War Hulk. I think that would be we already got the tease, at the end of She-Hulk. We got the tease, with his son. So crossing my fingers. They're planting the seeds. It is an ensemble, so they didn't break any rules, but maybe they knew something we didn't. Yeah. Maybe that's what happens next. Bob Iger's going to try to buy Universal next.
Yeah, that a little far-fetched, I would think. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. Yeah, I'm reading another article from CBR.com, just kind of laying out. It does look like that it's the Universal owns the rights to both The Incredible Hulk and Namor distribution rights. So anything that Disney created would be distributed by Universal, therefore making it like a Universal property, sort of. It's very confusing, all this stuff. And it looks like the deal that they had, which is like a 13-year-old deal or something at this point. I'm trying to get some of this information, but it's an in perpetuity deal. So they're I'm sure it's kind of like it may be like the one that they have at Universal Studios, the park, where they're like, you can use these characters in perpetuity so long as something, and then they go back to Marvel or whatever. It may be something like that, but again, a lot of contract stuff we don't know. It's all behind closed doors kind of stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes, because if they can strike a deal, or if, they can just straight out buy the rights for the Hulk, it would be nice to see more properties, especially because it's a property that I think a lot of people that grew up with the Infinity Saga would be a little more familiar with, and it's something that a lot of fans have been wanting to see for a long time. So it'll be something familiar, something a little old, but also something new that could, continue to spark this next phase. I know that a bunch of stuff was cut and a lot of things were recently adjusted and they changed the release dates and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe this could be the spark that they're looking for to really invigorate this next phase that seems to be struggling a little bit more than the last ones have. Hey, speaking of films on Disney Plus, I'm not sure if either one of you has seen this or even know about it, but Eva Longoria made her directorial debut with a film named Flamin' Hot. And yes, it is exactly what you think it is, the story of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I kind of knew this film was under development, but I didn't know that it was coming to Disney Plus. When we saw it come up, we were like, oh, that's interesting. We should watch this. And I will say that from a film standpoint, it was entertaining enough. It was a pretty good story as far as, who invented the Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and they kind of go through the whole thing, rags to riches sort of situation. And he becomes famous. It sparks this entire, revolution of hot snacks and hot ice cream and Flamin' Hot Cheetos on sushi, and you name it, it had Flamin' Hot Cheetos for the last however many years after this, blew up.
Did they ever have Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheetos?
Sure did.
At Burger King?
Sure did.
I mean, if you could imagine it, yeah, it did exist.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there was ice cream. There was birthday cakes covered in the Cheeto dust. There was all sorts of stuff, man. So The thing about this is that's interesting to me is a few years ago, I remember reading an article that kind of blew up for a while because the LA Times had revealed that Richard Montañez, the protagonist of this Flamin' Hot film, did not invent Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Apparently, it was I forgot her name. I'm trying to remember what her name was. I'll see if I can quickly do a Google search for her. But apparently, someone else created them, and somehow, and this is where it gets like all muddy, right? Because he went off and he gave speeches and he wrote books and articles and made a living and became famous and rich off of the notion that he invented Flamin' Hot Cheetos, when in reality, like, Flamin' Hot Cheetos were invented by somebody else, and then he was like, what if we put the dust on popcorn? And then the revolution was, I guess, that you could put that stuff on anything, and it makes anything Flamin' Hot all of a sudden. So, interesting. I enjoyed it. It was very fun to watch, but just know when you go into it that, he didn't invent them. Somebody else did.
Lynn Greenfield is the name.
Yes, that's her.
It's funny. Kind of sounds like the McDonald's story, and that stinks. But anyways, that's not my point. My point is, what a time to be alive to witness this thing and then taste them and then see what it evolved to. And now there's a movie. What? What?
It's so crazy to me. The whole thing is just crazy. But hey, I mean, I have to say, I don't know. I don't think there's another snack in our lifetime that has made an impact the way that Flaming Hot Cheetos have in society. Because like we were saying a bit ago, they really did kind of invade. Like, there was a freaking Mountain Dew Flamin' Hot. Okay?
Yeah.
Who the hell wants to drink a Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew?
There was people.
I can't. I don't know. If anybody tasted Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew, please sound off in the comments on Instagram or join us on Discord if you haven't joined the community. I would love to know how this tasted because, I'll be honest. I'm a fan of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, okay? I'm such a stan for Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I am so Mexican about it. I've done one of two things with my Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I have either one, dip them in sour cream as I am eating them.
Yes.
And or add tapatio to them as I dip them in sour cream to eat them. So I'm a huge fan
or
of
lemon
Flamin'
juice.
Or lemon juice, exactly. And then there's like the very popular, when you buy them at like 7-Eleven or something, you open your bag and then you douse them with nacho cheese, and that's how you eat them as well. That was very popular growing up. So I have tried many Flamin' Hot Cheeto things. There was fries at Burger King. I've eaten it on sushi. I've eaten...
Wow.
I've eaten all sorts of stuff like Flamin' Hot flavored, right? Including the popcorn, which ironically enough was not the best. It was kind of like the worst of all of them. But can you think of a snack in our lifetimes that has had an impact on society the way that Flamin' Hot Cheetos has? That didn't exist, right? Like, obviously growing up, like, Kool-Aid was super big, like, stuff like that. But, like, a new product that just, like... Because growing up in Southern California, there was a soundbite on the Kevin and Bean show that I used to hear every time they would be happy about something. They're like, when I eat hot Cheetos, it makes me go crazy, right? Because it's true. Like, you ate Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and you're like, so good, ah.
Something along that line, I would think is, even though I'm not a spice person at all. I can't handle it. if I go to like the Mexican restaurant and they have the chips and salsa, I take the chip and I dip it in the salsa and then I knock the salsa off, so I just get a little taste of salsa. And then like there's the people that like take the big scoop and whatever. Da 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 da. Anyway, all that to say, something comparable I think would be sriracha. Like
yeah.
sriracha is like in everything recently.
You're right.
That's a good one.
Their like marketing model and everything, it's just like a guy, he's like, I'm just gonna make this because they don't have anything that's hot enough for me here in the United States. I think he's an immigrant, and he just made it, and they don't have a marketing team, they just sell it, and it's like become like the biggest food thing like in the world, basically.
The plant is actually super close to where I live. We can actually tour the plant.
Oh, yeah?
Interesting.
Yeah. I think sriracha is a really great example. If you could pinpoint one snack in the Disney bubble that you think encompasses like what the mania of Flaming Hot Cheetos would be within the Disney community, what would you say that snack is? Because I have an idea of what I would say that snack is.
My brain is like, there's two, like, can't compute right now. Like, honestly, I am blanking out.
Like, the thing that I'm thinking of is, like, it's kind of like the opposite. Like, it's like Flaming Hot Cheetos, but in reverse. With churros, they're like, okay, here's a churro, and we're just going to put 8 billion different things on this churro.
Yeah,
we hope you
you're
like
right.
It's like the opposite. It's like, here's churro, s'mores churro, red churro, apple churro, watermelon churro.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of Cheeto. They're like, here's Cheeto, but it's flaming hot.
So I would be inclined to agree with you. However, if you ever have had an opportunity to go somewhere like here in LA, like Olvera Street, there are so many vendors that sell things like churros that they're already like 20 different flavors you can get them in, right? And so the one that I think has been one of those that just developed this crazy cult following is the Dole Whip.
Yeah.
Like the Dole Whip, the Dole Whip was introduced like in the early 80s. Like I think like Dole invented it in like 84, and then 2 years later they brought it to Disneyland. So I think the Dole Whip would possibly be like, because you can ask I think anybody like what the most famous Disneyland snack is, and it's either going to be between churro and Dole Whip. Like maybe
you're right.
Maybe Mickey Ice Cream Head. Maybe.
Nah.
Maybe.
If they're only going sweet treats, then definitely.
Yeah. And I also think that it depends on what time of year you ask it, because obviously if you ask the question during the summer, people might be more inclined to say something that's cold and sweet that they can enjoy on a hot summer day, right? So yeah, the churro I think is more like, you can enjoy it whenever, but I think it's more of a colder season snack because it's a warm snack. So this is definitely a question I want to ask. I'm curious. I don't even know what to ask. Like, what do you think the most popular snack is of those three? Or if you could name the most popular Disney snack, what would it be? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll post it to social media, and then we'll get an answer, and then we'll see what the results are. We'll talk about it next episode. But
just imagine they do like if they took churro, they have like churro dust, which is just cinnamon sugar, but then they just started like calling it like churro flavored popcorn, and they have like churro dust, cinnamon sugar popcorn, and they have churro flavored
my friend
cookie. Like, I think they could do it. Like, they could do the flamin' hot Cheeto thing with churro flavored Dole Whip.
My friend, listen, they already kind of do that. Yeah, they already kind of do, because Cinnamon Toast Crunch released their Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavoring and the powder that you can sprinkle on everything. And if you add that to waffles or pancakes,
ice cream.
Diabetes becomes super happy at that point. But yeah, oh man. Okay, we got to move on from the food talk, but there you go. We're going to put the question out there. We'll probably put up a poll. No, you know what? We will put up a poll. because I want to know the answer to this. I want to know what the fan favorite snack is. That'll be our question of the week. How about that? We'll do a question of the week.
Introducing it now, folks. That question of the week. This week only, maybe, or next week if we remember.
We'll figure it out as we go along. Let's see. Oh, I want to mention this because we're talking about movies. Spider-Man film, Across the Spider-Verse. You know, big film, Into the Spider-Verse, also super big, really popular. The director, I believe it was one of the directors of the film, had seen this demo. I think it was Kemp Powers that saw this video that was all Lego. It was Spider-Man Lego, and it was super well made. And he looks at it and he thinks, man, we got to get this guy to do a Lego thing for Across the Spider-Verse. And so they reach out to the person that created this insanely awesome Lego thing, and they're like, hey, man, you know, we want to hire you to do something for Across the Spider-Verse. The person that created it was 14 years old.
Nice.
So a 14-year-old worked on a Lego stop-motion thing for Across the Spider-Verse.
It looks great.
Cool is that, right? As much
Kid's
as
gonna
social
go far.
media, oh, absolutely. As much as social media can, look, let's be honest. As much as social media can be a cesspool of garbage, when these gems pop up, like, it can make a career for somebody, right? And this is a perfect example. We saw this with the artist that had done the Spider-Man thing, you know, at California Adventure, the stunt show. Like, he's gone on to work on big projects. He works with Zach King now, one of the best motion graphic artists in the world, really, if you're familiar with those TikTok and Vine videos that he's done. Yeah, something like this can totally make your career. We've seen this with 3D printers as well, right? They've made helmets and gear and stuff that they just make for fun or because they go to conventions. And then Marvel just calls them and says, like, hey, man, we really love what you're doing with your products. We want to hire you to make the gear for the next whatever film. Come on. That's fantastic. So follow your dreams, kids. If you love to do something, film yourself doing it, get really good, and who knows, maybe some stop motion thing that you make in the future will be in an upcoming Spider-Man film. Can I guarantee that? Absolutely not. But it's possible.
It is. You keep going. I mean, we all start somewhere, so hey.
Yep.
Anything can happen if you let it.
Let's see. Oh, big thanks to Heather from the FGP Squad. She posted a really cool link to Lego. They had a Hocus Pocus cottage that was, it was one of those fan-voted things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make it through, or was it just in the voting stage?
Oh, it's made it through, and it's going to be produced, Cottage 21341 on the Lego website, coming on July 4th. It looks like it'll be released for $230.
How big is it?
It is, if it'll tell me, 2,300 pieces.
Wow.
Okay.
With 6 minifigures. So it looks like we have the Sanderson sisters and Max and the other two. I don't know. I just spaced on there. Danny and
Allison.
And Allison. And you get a little Binks, too.
Oh,
Aw.
nice. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, that's a pretty hefty set.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
Hey.
pretty big in the photos. Like, it looks decent size. And, like, the house opens up and it has a bunch of, like, you know, the book is there. It's got all kinds of stuff. Looks very cool.
Mary gets a vacuum.
Yes,
That's
Mary gets a
awesome.
That's awesome.
With, like, a cord and everything.
That's super
Yeah.
cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. That is worth it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the nicer sets that they've put up there.
From the Legos Ideas thing, whatever they call it.
Yeah. Did that Haunted Mansion one that we had seen ever make it through?
Which one?
I don't
There
think
was a
so,
more
'cause we haven't heard
extravagant
anything.
version. Yeah, there was a more
Okay.
extravagant version of the mansion that was put up there. It was nothing like the one that actually got released.
Yeah,
It was
like,
a
like
really
a
nice
big,
version.
Big boy.
Yes. It was a really nice version.
Wasn't
But I
the
don't
$40
remember
one
ever
we got.
hearing if it ever got produced.
It doesn't look like it. I'm looking up Haunted Mansion right
Aw.
now. That little one's the first one that comes up. And then Mini Disney
Boo.
Castle, and then you got Bowser's Castle.
Oh,
Dry Bowser Castle
Still good, though.
Battle Expansion Set.
nice.
I don't know what I don't know what the Battle at Hogwarts has to do with Haunted Mansion, but it's on here too on this list.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lego website weird.
Harry Potter to Disney confirmed.
Harry Potter, that's me. Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a Harry wizard.
You're a Harry wizard. And it all started with Kermit the Frog. Yeah, you're a wizard, Harry. All right, before we continue, I do want to remind you that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by a fantastic group of listeners known as the FGP Squad. Our podcast, Fairy Godparents, because it is their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. If you want more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, a link to our Patreon, and a little info on the FGP Squad itself. Being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks like access to our happy hour calls, additional content that we've uploaded to Patreon, discount codes anytime we have new Podketeers gear, random giveaways, and a special section of Discord where we can interact with other members of the FGP Squad. So if you want more info, again, podketeers.com/FGP is where you want to go. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. All right, well, I think we're going to start getting ready to wind down the podcast soon. So we're going to get ready for great moments in a bit. But there was a couple things that were brought up in the chat that, we should talk about. Because if you're looking into decorating, we got some stuff that you can make here. Mel, do you want to bring up the first one?
Yeah. So we like DIYs, do it yourselves, and crafts and making things out of anything. And there's a TikTok that's going around. This TikTok pretty much is, hey, let's go to this place, which is called the Tractor Supply Company. And, let's try to make some logs. And it's cool because this guy, he's inspired him and his son. It's a little father-son type of thing. They're buying these planters. You know what? I'm kicking myself because I've seen these planters before, but I never thought of it. So these planters, they're logs. Or they're not, but they look like logs. They look like the logs from Splash Mountain. This is where I'm kicking myself because the idea is there. But this guy thought of it to make these logs and, let's see if it'll work and put it on water, that kind of stuff. And so he goes in the store and he sees these things, picks them up and gives it like a paint, paint dew and whatnot, makes it really pretty. And he actually has the top part, which is the rabbit. And already side note, I looked on this guy's profile and I should have stated that first. His screen name is the Satisfactual Sign Company. So he has a bunch of things that are replicas off of Disney attractions. And of course, he has one for Splash Mountain. And it's really cool looking. So he gets this thing going and it's one of those things where you have to see it because it's such a cool stuff. He makes his own little pattern for seating through poster board or, that kind of paper. Cuts, pieces of wood, gets it all done, puts these little seats like in the wood log. And it's so cool. It's really, really cool. Like it's one of those things where you just want to make something cool for home or, a wild adventure or whatever. Looks, whatever your heart desires. I mean, it's pretty neat. Like, I kind of, I wish I had known about this. I wish I had thought about this. I did not. I failed. But this guy did perfectly well. And it's cool. And at the end, you just see the little plushies. Like, it's cute. It is so cute.
mean, it's a really cool DIY. The way that he figured everything out, and just
Yeah.
created the entire like vehicle, just like so good. Well, like you said, I mean, this is what he seems to do for a living, right? He creates
Right.
these projects, and he creates these crafts and sells them, which are just so good. Like, he's so talented. So to look at this, like you said, you look at something like this and you think, man, why didn't I think of that? It's like, it's right there, right?
Yeah.
So to see it.
You
And
didn't have to
look,
do
if-
much.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, if you don't want it to be the Splash Mountain version, you can make it the Tiana's Bayou Adventure log as well.
Yeah.
They're going to be the same vehicles. So
Yep.
you'll be able to just... I don't know what the ornamentation will be for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I know that this one has a rabbit on the front of the log. But I guess once we know more about the design, you can make your own Tiana's Bayou Adventure log as well. But yeah, this, like, he has so many cool things on his page. Man, I want
Or
some of this stuff.
I was gonna say, if you don't want to do that, you could base it off of Knott's Berry Farm, their log ride. There you go.
Right.
You
They have
got
one
you
as
got
well.
options.
Exactly. Definitely have options.
So
Make it not Scary
yeah.
Farm, whatever.
I wonder if there's anything else that we could make along these lines. Like, what can you find at the store and turn it into a ride vehicle?
Well,
Like,
I mean, who's to say you can't take that, put foam board, and make it a bobsled?
hey,
It's the same model.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's multiple attractions that have vehicles that look like they're carved from wood. They're just not the same shape as the flume, right? Because I
Yeah.
think Snow White Scary Adventures is definitely one of the vehicles that I want to say looks like they're wooden vehicles.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think there's many others that look like the flume. I mean, there's been some pretty interesting adaptations of other vehicles using like curved chairs. People have made like a doom buggy sort of thing, and I want to think about this.
Take like a bar, like a what do you call those, like Power Wheels Jeep, and here Indiana Jones Jeep. Here we go.
Right.
Yep.
Paint it brown. Put
Right.
some mud on it.
And then it'll look like the Jurassic Park Jeep.
No, because then it's gonna have Solid Tours sticker on it, and you know the. Yeah, but those Jeeps are like white, aren't they? Like orange and
They got like
yellow
orange and green and
yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
green.
Yeah.
So
funny.
I'm sure there's got to be like other, you know, a lot of them are just vehicles that exist, like pirate ship and boat and car
Yeah.
and thing. So, I mean, I guess this is kind of one of the more unique ride vehicles.
Yeah.
So finding like just a log planner, like it's like Kismet or whatever. It was just meant to be.
Yeah.
Somebody come up with that.
I mean, if you tie a whole bunch of logs together, you could get a raft, sail it into Tom
could.
Sawyer Island, I guess. I mean, that's pretty easy if you want to do that. Creativity, yay.
Hey.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, speaking of attraction decoration, this actually leads well into the next product because, Andrew, you sent a picture of what's coming later this year, and I can already see the money flying from my pockets.
So, yes, Halloween is it's almost here, folks, and it looks like there's been some Halloween leaks on there look like there's some sort of convention or something that kind of shows what's coming to Lowe's. But mostly Lowe's is what we're getting here. The big one is it looks like we're getting a 6'2" tall animated groundskeeper from the Haunted Mansion at Lowe's. I did find a price on this. It looks like it's going to be $239 for old Cyrus there.
That's not bad.
I don't know. From all the pictures are like waist up, so I can't tell if dog is included or not. I'm gonna guess no, but you never know. I did do a little more sleuthing, and it looks like there's also going to be a life-size bride from the Haunted Mansion at the same price, $239. Along with that, we're getting some tombstones, a Madame Leota tombstone, a Departed Dave tombstone. I believe I also saw a inflatable 13-hour clock.
Ooh.
What?
So yeah, like last year they had like the plastic clock, but I did see an image of an inflatable 13-hour clock that's supposedly coming this year to Lowe's as well. So yeah, the leaks are coming. I'm here for it. I think we've already seen. I'd have to look up again if the Spirit Halloween was already announced. I think some of it, a lot of it was re up stuff from last year, but that's fine. They had great stuff last year.
Yeah, they did.
Nice. Well, we're just a little over a month away from Spirit Halloween during their big flagship store reopening. You know, we talked about it last year. I had no idea that they did this, but, you know, they have this, like, super huge event at their flagship store out in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, I think.
Mm-hmm. Sounds right.
And yeah, I think July 20-something, towards the end of the month, they're going to be having their big event again. And that's when I think we're going to see a lot of these products begin to pop up. Last year, I know we had some stuff at Lowe's, which was cool. I mean, I think they had some pretty decent stuff at Lowe's as well. But I remember Andrew going almost every day to Spirit Halloween for a while. And our lines of credit were just crossing because we would just send him Venmo and he'd pick stuff up for us. And I'm glad he's got a truck.
Right?
I do have a truck.
Oh, man. Yeah, we got some good stuff coming, so I'm hoping we're able to pick some of that up. My biggest issue is I just don't know how and how much to decorate because we can't do too much where we live. But, I mean, it's cool to have this stuff, right? I mean, if I had the space definitely in my office, I would like to have, like, the Caretaker and the Hatbox Ghost. I know the Hatbox Ghost isn't announced, but I mean, if there's one in the warehouse that Disney just doesn't know what to do with, and they just like, you know what, we need some space. Call Heyzen, you know, just have him take it home. He can watch it. He can put it up in his office or something. I would love to take it off their hands. I will take good care of Hattie. Let me know. I'll be there in a moment to pick it up.
You could send it to P.O. Box.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Man. No, seriously. I feel like this year, especially because there were certain items that I missed out on. And I'm kicking myself for a couple of them because I remember Andrew pushing me too. He's like, dude, there's only like 2 left. You should get it. Do you want me to get it? Just send me the money later. Just, do you want it? I'm here now. Do you want it? And then he'd go back the next day. There's only 1 left. Do you want it? Do you want me to get it for you? Just pay me back later. And the one that I regret the most is the plaque of the Haunted Mansion, the one that you see on the brick, like on the tower. So that's
just so you know, Heyzen, you can order that from Spirit Halloween right now on their website.
It's available now.
As many as it's available right now.
Nice.
I was just on this. Just on the Spirit Halloween website right now. So it looks like that might be something they stock fairly regularly or something. So.
Money is being taken away. There you go.
They had their own Haunted Mansion section this time.
Yeah, they have a whole section. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of the stuff from last year is definitely making a comeback. That cool mug is back. the shot glasses with the hitchhiking
gargoyle.
ghost. The
There was a
back.
cool like lantern that I never got to see in person that it's four-sided with the stretching
the
room portraits
portraits.
on
Oh
it.
yeah,
That is what
Ching,
cool looking.
ching, ding. There you go. All of that. Ooh.
Man.
It also looks like Lowe's is getting the inflatable hitchhiking ghosts is coming back this
Oh,
year as
good.
well. I'm kind of just like clicking on. This is the not in the Doom buggy, but 3 of them standing next to each other, and also a Jack Skellington like with his like holding his mouth open,
very
going
cool.
like blah.
This is so cool. This
Yeah,
is
I love
cool.
that they have like a whole section for it now. All right, well, hey, look, they have Hocus Pocus decor. Cool. They have a whole section for Hocus Pocus too.
More stuff on my wish list.
For real. For real. All right. Well, I think it's time we start wrapping it up. So, as we do, this year we have been doing our own homage to the Disney company as they celebrate their 100 years of wonder. And every episode we've had our own segment, our own tribute segment with the great Mr. Andrew. And it is called
Hey.
Great Moments with Mr. Andrew.
The years this week are 1971 and 1972. If you know anything about 1971 and 1972, you might already know what's coming. So, 4 films in 1971. In 1971, the Disney studio purchases the rights to the Chronicles of Prydian. I'm probably screwing that up. These books are later adapted to the film The Black Cauldron. Feature films released in 1971 are January 20th, The Wild Country, March 17th, The Barefoot Executive, June 22nd, Scandalous John, June 30th, The $1 Million Duck, and December 13th, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. For TV in 1971, 13 episodes of The Wonderful World of Disney air on NBC, including on October 29th, they air the grand opening of Walt Disney World. Approximately 52 million people in the U.S. view the 90-minute special. For theme parks in 1971, on April 15th, the last of the 337 concrete beams complete the 6-mile-long monorail transportation system for the Walt Disney World Resort, and the first Martin Marietta Mark IV monorail train is lowered onto the beam. On May 19th, the Indian War Canoes at Disneyland is renamed Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes. On June 14th, the All-American College Band performs for the first time at Disneyland. On June 17th at 11:13 a.m., Disneyland welcomes its 100th millionth guest, Valerie Suldo of New Jersey. On June 19th, Walt Disney World opens its own post office with its own zip code, 9, that's California, its own zip code, 32830. Also this year, the Riverbell Terrace restaurant opens in Frontierland at Disneyland. And on July 18th, the Walt Disney World phone system begins operation, part of the world's first all-electronic telephone company. On September 30th, the Preview Center for Walt Disney World closes. Since its opening, 1,332,927 people visited the Preview Center. On October 1st at 10 a.m. 1971, the Magic Kingdom Park at Walt Disney World opens in Orlando, Florida. Similar to Disneyland, 6 theme areas are Main Street USA, Adventureland, Fantasyland, Frontierland, Liberty Square, and Tomorrowland. Attendance on opening day is 10,422 people. The first guests to enter the park are William Windsor, Jr., wife Mary, and sons Jay and Lee. The first day, a Friday, was chosen as the likely slowest day of the week and the slowest time of the year for tourists in Florida. Organizers did not want a repeat of the mass crowds during the opening day of Disneyland. Cost to create the theme park was $400 million. It was the largest privately funded project on Earth at the time. It opens with 1 theme park, 2 resort hotels, and 43 square miles of recreational land and water space. This is equal to twice the size of Manhattan, or equal to the size of the entire city of San Francisco. The Walt Disney World Railroad opens with 3 locomotives, the Walter E. Disney, number 1, the Lily Bell, number 2, and the Roger E. Brogy, number 3. Main Street USA opening day attractions are the Fire Truck, Horse-Drawn Streetcars, Horseless Carriages, Town Square Cafe, Market House Store, Camera Center Shop, Jitney Vehicle, Coca-Cola Refreshment Corner, House of Magic Shop, Penny Arcade, Main Street Confectionery Shop, Emporium Store, Main Street Bake Shop, New Century Clock Shop. I wrote a lot of stuff here. Main Street Cinema, Chapeau Shop, Omnibus Vehicle. The Adventureland opening day attractions are Adventureland Veranda Restaurant, Swiss Family Treehouse, Jungle Cruise, Sunshine Pavilion, and Tropical Serenade. You may know that as the Enchanted Tiki Room. Fantasyland opening day attractions are Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Mad Tea Party, Snow White's Scary Adventures, Pinocchio's Village House Restaurant, Cinderella's Golden Carousel, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Mickey Mouse Review, It's a Small World, and Skyway to Tomorrowland. Frontierland opening days attractions are Country Bear Jamboree, Frontierland Shooting Gallery, Frontier Trading Post Shop, Pecos Bill Cafe, Mike Fink Keelboats, Mile Long Bar, Diamond Horseshoe Review, Davy Crockett Explorer Canoes. The Liberty Square opening day attractions are Hall of Presidents, Columbia Harbor House Restaurant, Heritage House Shop, Liberty Tree Tavern, Haunted Mansion. The Tomorrowland opening day attractions are Skyway to Fantasyland, Grand Prix, Raceway, Mickey's Mart Shop, and Tomorrowland Terrace Restaurant. They didn't have much in opening day. Also opening with the Magic Kingdom are King Stephen's Banquet Hall, Restaurant in Cinderella Castle, and the Crystal Palace Restaurant. Also opening the same day are the Monorail System, the Fort Wilderness Resort Campgrounds, which occupies 640 acres of forest, Disney's Contemporary Resort, which has 1,046 rooms, and the monorail passes through its interior. Also Disney's Polynesian Resort and the Magnolia Course Golf Course. The next day, October 2nd, the Admiral Joe Fowler Riverboat begins operation in Frontierland, and on October 3rd, Peter Pan's Flight opens in Fantasyland. Although this is the first operating day, the grand opening of Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World doesn't happen until the end of October. On October 23rd, a 3-day gala grand opening ceremony begins at Walt Disney World. Arthur Fiedler conducts the World Symphony Orchestra, formed by musicians from 60 countries, playing to 2,500 invited guests, 40,000 visitors to the park that day. On October 24th, during the 3-day gala opening ceremony, a 3-hour torchlit luau and show are held on the beach of the Polynesian Village for 1,000 invited guests, with a debut of the electrical water pageant. On October 25th, on the final day of the 3-day gala, a dedication is read by Roy Disney. The world's largest marching band, with 1,076 instruments, plays 76 trombones. A 1,500-voice choir sings When You Wish Upon a Star, and thousands of balloons are released. On December 1st, the number 4 locomotive, the Roy O. Disney, begins operation in the Magic Kingdom. Other notable events of 1971. On May 1st, Warner Brothers Pictures releases the film Billy Jack to theaters in USA. A man wears a Disneyland souvenir t-shirt. On October 15th, the cover of Life magazine shows 1,500 Disney employees and characters in front of Cinderella Castle at Walt Disney World. On December 2nd, the Walt Disney World Open Golf Championship is held at Magnolia Course. Also this year, the Firehouse 5+2 band at Disneyland disbands. After the opening of Walt Disney World on October 1st, Roy finally retires. Following Roy's retirement, Don Tatum becomes chairman and chief executive officer of Walt Disney Productions, and Card Walker becomes president of Walt Disney Productions. The birthdays for 1971. January 7th, Jeremy Renner. January 20th, Questlove. February 22nd, Lea Salonga. February 25th, Sean Astin. March 16th, Alan Tudyk. March 31st, Ewan McGregor. May 27th, Paul Bettany. July 3rd, Benedict Wong. August 20th, Ke Huy Quan. September 16th, Amy Poehler. October 25th, Craig Robinson. November 20th, Joel McHale. Notable deaths from 1971. July 6th, Louis Armstrong. July 7th, Ub Iwerks. And July 17th, Cliff Edwards. And on December 20th, 1971, Roy Oliver Disney dies of a cerebral hemorrhage. He was 78 years old, 5 days after the 5th anniversary of his younger brother's death. He is interred in Forest Lawn Memorial Park next to his wife, Edna. Roy's behind-the-scenes business acumen built an entertainment empire on his younger brother's, Walt's, talent for drawing and lovable talking animals and making innocent dreams come true. Roy inherited the Disney Entertainment empire and was its chief moving spirit following the death of Walt. His official title was chairman of the board and chief executive officer. His real function, as he saw it, was the keeper of the spirit that Walt created and that permeated their cartoons, movies, television programs, amusement parks, and other enterprises. He did not try to fill his creative brother's shoes as an artist. The ideas kept coming, he said, from the good organization built by Walt, who wouldn't want us to change direction. It was Roy who lent Walt $250, who contributed $40, and his early talents as a filmmaker to the partnership, to open a cartoon studio in a small rented building behind a real estate office in Hollywood in 1923. In those years, Walt drew the pictures and Roy worked the cameras and kept the books. Roy Disney parlayed the outcome of the original $790 stake into a business worth hundreds of millions. The Disney brothers were the children of Canadian-Irish building contractor Elias Disney and were born in Chicago and raised in Marceline, Missouri. Roy worked as a bank clerk in Kansas City for 8 years and served as a petty officer on the Navy cargo ship in World War I before joining his brother in the cartoon business. Roy Disney leaves his wife Edna, a son, Roy Edward, who is a producer at Disney Productions and a board director, a brother, Ray, a sister, Mrs. Ruth Beecher, and 4 grandchildren. That brings us to 1972. For films in 1972, on April 10th, the Academy awards an Oscar for special visual effects to the film Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Feature films released this year are March 22nd, The Biscuit Eater, July 5th, Napoleon and Samantha, July 12th, Now You See Him, Now You Don't. October 18th, Run, Cougar, Run. November 26th, Chandar, the Black Leopard of Celion. I don't know, I'm probably screwing that up. And December 22nd, Snowball Express. For TV in 1972, on January 26th, the syndicated TV series The Mouse Factory debuts, and 13 episodes of The Wonderful World of Disney air on NBC. For theme parks in 1972, on March 24th, Bear Country at Disneyland opens. It costs about $8 million to build. Included in Bear Country are the Country Bear Jamboree, the Mile Long Bar, the Teddy Bears Swingin' Arcade, and the Ursus H. Bears Wilderness Outpost Shop. On June 5th, Eastern Airlines begins sponsorship of If You Had Wings in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom. On June 17th, the Main Street Electrical Parade premieres at Disneyland. The parade features 500,000 sparkling lights and 500 miles of wiring. Also this year, the Cafe Orleans restaurant opens in New Orleans Square at Disneyland, formerly known as the Creole Cafe. 4 locomotives are built for the use for a new railroad to operate in the Fort Wilderness at Walt Disney World. The cost is $1 million for 4 engines and 20 cars. On September 24th, the Golden Bear Lodge restaurant opens in Bear Country at Disneyland. On October 1st, 10.7 million people have visited Walt Disney World since its opening 1 year ago. Also in October, the Winnie the Pooh for President event is held at Disneyland. And on December 15th, construction begins on Space Mountain at Walt Disney World. Other notable events of 1972. In February, Fawcett begins publishing the Disneyland Magazine weekly magazine in the U.S. On April 19th, in the case of the Sierra Club against the U.S. Forest Service over Disney's proposed Mineral Kingdom ski resort, the Supreme Court issues its ruling, voting 4-3, agreeing the Court of Appeals in dissolving the injunction against the commencing project. On May 14th, the first major auction of Disney memorabilia is held at Sotheby's Auction House in Los Angeles. The 170 items sold for a total of $15,000. On June 2nd, the Sierra Club case against the U.S. Forest Service over Disney's proposed Mineral King ski resort at the Sierra Club amends its original suit, adding claims under the National Environmental Protection Act, requesting the government produce an environmental impact statement on the resort. Judge Swinehart also agrees to reinstate the injunction until the impact statement can be completed and until the trial is held on the original suit. Also this year, Nabisco features Winnie the Pooh on its Honey Crunchers cereal box. John Hench is named the Executive Vice President of WED, and Disney on Parade tours Europe. Birthdays for 1971, March 21st, Kristen Anderson Lopez. May 2nd, Dwayne Johnson. June 2nd, Wayne Brady. July 27th, Maya Rudolph. September 6th, Idris Elba. and Anika Noni Rose. And December 18th, Jason Mantzoukas. That was a lot. And that was 1971 and 1972 for great moments with me, Mr. Andrew, if you want to call me that. Mr. Andrew's fine. Andrew, whatever you want to do. It's okay. We're done. This is over. I'm stopping talking now.
I will call you the great Mr. Andrew because that was
Okay.
awesome.
It was.
Love it.
Good job.
Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for this week. Remember, if you haven't joined the community, we'd love to have you over on Discord. Joining is super simple. Head on over to podketeers.com/links. While you're on that page, make sure that you also check out some of the other stuff we have. We always have a post to our latest episode, the Quizneyland playlist. Of course, we have links to our YouTube channel and Larry's YouTube channel, Goofy Guys Adventures. So it's all on one compact page for you to check out. Again, podketeers.com/links is where you will find all of that information. And of course, remember our question of the week. You know, are we going with what do you think the most iconic Disney snack is, or should we make it multiple choice and give the 3 snacks, the churro, the Dole Whip, and the Mickey ice cream bar, and have people vote using the 3 options?
Well, if our previous March Mayhem has taught us anything, we already know what it is. So maybe just let them let them tell us, because maybe somebody's got a better idea that we're not thinking of.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll leave it blank. We'll post a question. You know, what do you think the most iconic Disney snack is? And then we'll compile the results and share them in next week's episode. And that's it. I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Part of the Podketeers Network.